didn't get a chance to wash it well, but it should do the trick. We got the 98 headlights in. I brought those bulbs with me, and we'll cross our fingers that everything goes according to plan. What's going on, guys? Before we get to today's video, guess what? Rob's wearing a beanie inside. Why would he do that? Well, he's promoting the fact that he has beanies. We're doing an adventure drives trip up to the ice hotel. So checking off some bucket list stuff up in Canada. We're going to check out Montreal. We're going to go skating through a forest. Ice skating through a forest. Not on a rink, through a forest. That's cool. We're going to do sled dogs. We're doing all sorts of fun stuff up there. It is a 3-night trip. And if you buy a beanie, which I've made 250 of those, and surprisingly, most of you guys must live in a warm climate because they don't sell like the other stuff I've ever sold. So there's about 150 beanies left. No matter what happens, whether they sell or not, I'm going to pull a winner this coming Saturday. So it's your last couple of days to buy them, but your odds are terrific. You can come up and join us on the trip. I'm going to pay for your flights, hotel, food, everything like that. You're all covered. Or you could just go sign up for the trip and come. There's a couple of spots left. We did this very last minute. It's going to be a small, intimate, fun trip. No car rentals are required, nothing like that. You could just come and have the time of your life for a couple of days. And if you don't win and you don't want to sign up and you do take part in this, at the end of the day, you still got a beanie. And they're nice, right? They're like fleece lined. Look, my Keeps hair restoration under there. But they're nice, so you can't go wrong. So link in the description. Check them out. All right, everybody, Rob Ferretti out here in Long Island, New York. Not my favorite place to be, but my Supra is out here, and not my 98, my 95, which you'll remember was a barn find Supra that I said I'm going to build this thing up in a month and make it like a really cool, like well-built car. Some of it came true because we did build the car. We did get it out to Vegas for banging gears, but we did have a problem with it that the engine locked up inside the first, just say 20 miles. So that was a problem. However, we did have that engine warranted by the engine builder. Then I got a call from Mo now. It's just over a year anniversary of the car being out here. And he said, I've got some bad news. So now I am coming out here to see what the bad news is, because bad news is not good.
Now your destination is on the right.
We're on the road again. We were at Mo's shop over at PetrolWerks, the temporary shop. And the car's actually not even there. It's still over at the dyno. But I did get the bad news. Bad news is they were dynoing the car, right? Here's the chronology, right? We did our first build, we dynoed the car, and it made about 730 wheel horsepower at 20 pounds of boost. So that's our baseline. Engine seized up in Las Vegas. Fast forward, we had to trailer the car to and from. We had the engine builder, they warranted the engine, they rebuilt the car, put the new engine in it, and brought it back to the dyno. This is back when I was at the Taylor Swift concert. I remember they were, which is probably about May or June, probably about May. And at that point in time, the car was only making 550 horsepower. They couldn't get it over 16 pounds of boost. So, all right, okay, we'll figure that out from there. But the tune was supposed to be really good. Fast forward, they now brought it back to the dyno again. They had this tuner come in, and this tuner was going to be tuning it, and they weren't able to get it over, I think, 18 pounds of boost. Whatever it was, they were still limited by boost. We don't know what that problem is yet. When they open the cylinders as they're doing their checks to see what's going on, they saw bad stuff going on in the cylinders when they popped out the spark plugs. They're like, all right, well, the engine's bad again. Let's pull it off the dyno. When they went to pull it off the dyno, the engine locked up again, only at 550 horsepower. So that's a problem. And now I'm in quite the pickle because I have a $20,000 engine. We're talking Wiseco pistons, Manley rods. Like, it's a built, ported head. Everything is properly done with this engine. It's as good as it gets, designed to do a 1,500 horsepower engine. and it's gone bad now twice inside of, not even inside of any use, inside of 10 miles each. And that's really the problem we're having here, is that if it's going instantly locking up, whoever is building it is doing it incredibly wrong. And it's embarrassing to build an engine and have it fail in 20 or 30 miles. When you then put that engine back together or put another engine back together, have it instantly fail again is not a good look. So my concern here is that I don't want to get this car and they're like, all right, now it's good. And then within the first 50, 100, 200, 500 miles, I have the engine lock up and somebody points the finger at me. And they're like, well, you probably did something wrong. I don't know why this thing is beeping at me. But anyway, that's not the purpose of this. So I am fearful that I'm going to then have this guy rebuild a third engine and be in the exact same scenario. So hopefully that's not the case. Now, Mo, he sent the car out for a third-party engine builder at the time because we were really tight on time, and he was allowing him to work on the rest of the car while this other guy was putting the engine together. And then since it went bad, that guy warrantied it instead of having to then have Mo build it. Now we're trying to figure out if this guy's going to refund Mo for the engine and ultimately refund Mo, which refunds me. And then we can then have Mo put the engine together properly. That's the goal, but let's go check on the car now. Somehow I've gone through $40,000 in engines, if you count two $20,000 engines going bad inside 10 miles or 40 combined miles. That's not a good look. That's not like we're going out and putting like 6-second drag passes together and like, you know what, them's the brakes. We're street driving the car, and it's not even getting to the point where we can deliver it to me as a customer. And here we are. Actually, this is not the second shop. This is the third shop that we towed it to. This is the guy that fabricated my exhaust, the piping from the turbos down to the intercooler, and the center section on the exhaust. This here car is my Supra, and obviously the license plate is a bit of a stretch, bit of a lie, because right now it's making zero horsepower. So 320 is overstating it versus understating it. Not gonna lie, covered in snow still looks good. I'm not even mad about the car being covered in snow, honestly, because the paint is all gonna have to be redone. You can see where we rolled the fenders here is starting to rust. Again, this whole car is going to get repainted. It's got my 98 with the hood and the front bumper off my 98 on it, but the whole car has got to be redone. That's locked, huh? It's nice that the locks work, but I guess it makes sense. Whoop, a little slippery. Car's frozen shut, huh? I don't have the key. I could knock on the door and get the key. Not really a big deal, but I do want to see. Let's look from the other side because you have more sun. You do have the interior put in. Last time you saw this car in Vegas, it was literally like a milk crate and a unbolted in seat. And now it does have an interior in it, most of it. It doesn't have the rear seat, but that was expected. I have my factory rear seat still at Moe's. So I've got the stock interior from this car, which is tan. And I don't know if I'm going to go rear seat, no rear seat, but I'd have to rewrap the seats black. I've got the Sparco, so I can rewrap and sell the front seats. The rear seats, I'm either going to just like throw a carpet on it or something like that. We'll see what the noise is. We'll see what it looks like when it's actually running and I can take delivery of it. But for now, this is what we're looking at. A blown motor, which, I mean, I'm not even going to bother unscrewing this and taking the snow off. But, yeah. And the other thing I do need to do is I got to take these headlights out. These are my 98 headlights. I've got the factory headlights from this car, which are all yellow. But when I had both cars together, the grand plan here was going to have my 98 and my 95 next to each other. And Chris Fix was going to come out and clean up my 95 headlights to make them look proper and clear. And that was going to be a video, the hands, you know, like the Chris Fix hands. So that's still possible. But right now I'm going to put these headlights back on my other car, swap these. There's a lot of like moving parts that we did to get this thing running for Vegas. Be like, all right, luckily I have two cars. Let's pull this and this. Brembo's front, Brembo's make it on the rear too. That's new. That is new. So we didn't have the Brembos on the rear last time when we were in Vegas. So it's good to see this thing pretty much done. The gauge faces, which you're not going to be able to see. I have the TRD gauges with the 10,000 RPM tack. I got to put the new door skins on, which I have, but I think they're in Jersey. But yeah, that's this is your Supra update. So now we're looking at a year for a build, which was promised for a month, been sort of semi-delivered, right? Because we were in Vegas and it was driving. We do have videos of it driving and dynoing. And it wasn't the rush that caused it to fail, and it also wasn't completely done because it didn't have an interior, but it was close. But then fast forward, yeah, we're still a work in progress. We're going to shoot for spring. We got to figure out what we're doing with this engine. I was hoping Mo would be around today to discuss that and go over to the machine shop and figure out a solution. But we don't have a solution now. I don't know what you guys would do in said situation, but how comfortable you would be taking a car with a guy building a third motor when the first two failed. So that's the problem I'm in now. But hopefully we'll get it resolved and I'll have this thing up and running for spring. And I plan on like daily driving this thing, like legitimately running. Instead of the 1200 horsepower on full boost, I'll probably daily drive it at like 700 horsepower, which should be pretty reliable. That's like a pump gas, 20 pounds of boost. But we'll get it up to 40 and we'll see what it does. But there's your update. Rob Ferretti from Long Island. Hopefully next time I'm out here, it's to pick this thing up and bring it home. Signing out. Stay tuned.